This one is a story of mother-in-law secretly DNA tests my daughter. I have a lot of stories concerning my ex-mother-in-law, but this one takes all the cake. I was married to my ex-husband for 13 years, and the best thing to come out of that marriage was my 2 wonderful children. My son has autism and looks like a carbon copy of my ex-husband, who is white with blue eyes. I'm a Mexican-American, and my ex-mother-in-law was not very happy about this fact. My daughter is my carbon copy, but with green eyes. So a little background is that my daughter was a planned pregnancy, and it took several months of trying, and her entire pregnancy was hard. She ended up coming 6 weeks early and still weighing a whopping 7 pounds, 6 ounces. Wow, it's big for an early baby. Early baby! Sorry, just remember that Bluey episode. So my ex-mother-in-law started from day one saying that she was too big to be early. So she thinks I lied about the pregnancy to hide an affair. I never cheated on my ex-husband in 13 years. And I knew I never cheated, and honestly, so did he. But his mother was never convinced, and she constantly remarked on how my daughter was nothing like her side of the family. She even went as far as saying that if she wasn't my ex-husband's child, she would be overweight like her side of the family. I've always been a small-framed person, and so is my family. So a few years go by, and my daughter and son come home from a visit with their father's family, and they were excited about the 23andMe test Grandma got for everyone for Christmas. I said this was very cool. My daughter said, yeah, we all had to spit in a tube, and Grandma said I was special and got 2 tubes to spit in and a cotton swab for my cheeks. My daughter was 9 at the time and innocently remarked that she had 2 while everyone else had 1. I immediately knew what happened. DNA test. After about 8 weeks, my ex-mother-in-law started speaking to my daughter differently and finally said, well, she must get that trait from my side of the family. I was shocked but laughed at her and said, oh, did you finally get that 99.99% test back? She said, I have no idea what you are talking about. I absolutely lost it and laughed in her face. She was crazy the entire time I was married to her son, and I have so many other insane things she did, but this one was the best. I only wish I could have been there when she got the results. Mother-in-law secretly DNA testing a kid? Isn't... I was going to ask, I'm like, is this a crime? Is it a crime to do some kind of health-related test without a parent's permission? I don't know, but if someone had done this to your kid, given them some kind of medical test, regardless of what it is, without your permission, I would go apeshit. Absolutely apeshit. And also someone who has this viewpoint, and it's not just mothers-in-law, but for whatever reason, mothers-in-law are the most common person to carry this through and not believe that a child belongs to their son because they look different. It's like I think they don't understand because they don't want to understand. They want to just pretend like this kid isn't part of their family because they look a little bit different. They don't understand genetics at all. They don't understand traits and how they can carry through it all. She just wanted to be her narrow-minded viewpoint of what she wanted to believe. And then to freaking DNA test this little girl. Be like, oh, you're special. You get an extra tube. We're going to do an extra swab on you. Why do I get to be special, Grandma? Oh, no reason. What was going to happen if this test showed that she wasn't related? Was she just going to be like, okay, well, you can't come over anymore because you're not part of this family biologically? Is that how shitty she is? Also, OP here. As soon as OP found out or knew what was happening whenever her daughter said that she got an extra tube, how did that phone not start dialing immediately? Or how did she not go over there right then and be like, you effing did what? Without my permission? I think she knew how the test was going to end up, and so she let it play out so that it would blow up in her face, and I agree, that's great. But once that part was over, I would be going apeshit and saying, look, a major trust barrier has been broken here. A major pillar of trust has been shattered. And how am I supposed to trust you around my kid now if you're going to do these clandestine, stupid effing things because you're small-minded? How am I supposed to trust you? And she has to understand that because she went behind your back and did something. It's absolutely horseshit for not just the way that she looks at the situation, but for what she did behind your back. And I know it's not an AITA story. I don't care. Sending ex-mother-in-law straight to AskOn 1 for this horse shit. Not okay with it. You don't mess with kids and you don't mess with cake. This is messing with a kid. Sorry, honey, we're not going over to your bigot grandma's today. Be like, look, yeah, you've actually broken a law here, Grandma. And Even though they are related, it would have been funny if she tried to use that defense. Well, it's okay because I'm her grandma. Oh, well, you were trying to prove that you weren't her grandma, so which is it? Garbage.